Welcome to the In Between podcast. This week we have something a little different and special for you. We sent out a secret show to our email subscribers a couple weeks ago, and it was such a huge hit, we wanted to share it with all of our In Between fans. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a secret show with some of our favorite things. You won't want to miss it.
Welcome to our secret show. You got a link to this show if you have subscribed to our newsletter list that's through our In Between website. And so we're just so glad. We kind of feel like you're part of our inner circle. And so we wanted to give you just some extra little fun tips that we're loving right now. So basically, our secret show, you're going to get one of these every month in the middle of the month. And we just want to share with you some of our favorite things. And so we're just going to jump right in and let's start. Since we are kind of a social media kind of thing, we both love Instagram. So Leslie, what is your favorite Instagram right now that you're loving?
I actually have a couple. So
okay, that's great. I have a couple things on different ones too.
Okay, so I am loving following. If you caught our fashion episode a couple weeks ago with Katie Roark. So Katie has an Instagram feed for her fashion blog, and it's just cute and fun, and she takes cute pictures, and it's kind of how she links to her blogs and all the information. And so I love following that. It's Katie. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Katie did. Anyway, we're going to make show notes, and we'll have so you can read them and go follow them. But Katie did, and then I love two that are specific for Nashville. So if you're not here, whatever, but if you like cool pictures, you may want to follow. So one, because I'm kind of a foodie, is Eat Nashville, and it's given me a lot of great ideas of places to try and things to eat, and I've actually found some really great restaurants and dishes that I loved just from following that. And so Eat Nashville, and then the last one is Nashville Explorers Club, and it's people that go out and like kayak and hike and kind of just explore all over. And that's not necessarily something that like I do, but I love to see their pictures and what they're out doing. And again, it gives me ideas of maybe stuff that I can go out and do one day. So yeah, those are my three.
Those are good. I just have one, although I love Instagram. There's a lot that I like, so I'm excited. I'll share more in future months. I love to follow Kensington Royal. So it's at Kensington Royal. And it just shows everything that Duchess Kate and Prince William and Prince Harry are doing.
Okay.
Follow that one?
No, I don't, but I might check it out.
It's a little bit stalkerish, I guess, but they're choosing what to show. It's not like paparazzi. It's like their official one. And so I love it.
So they're actually calling the shots of what.
I mean, I'm sure it's like their assistants and their PR people, but yeah, it's them. And they're showing like, it's usually like the different charities they're going to see, or if they go to a hospital, but it'll also be like, oh, Prince Harry's traveling today in South Africa, and there's Harry like with hugging an elephant.
Do you think they have like their own private Instagrams that just like their families follow? Are they normal like that? Or do you think
so? I like to think so. I don't know though, because people can get hacked so easily.
No.
They may not.
Oh, I don't know. I just thought of that. Anyway. Yeah. We'll have to check out Kensington Royal.
Yes.
Okay. So we also love to read. So what is your favorite book of the moment?
Okay, I have two. I'm going to give you a nonfiction and a fiction book. My nonfiction book that I'm recommending to everybody right now is Present Over Perfect by Shauna Niequist. Probably almost my all-time favorite book is Bread and Wine by her. And so I was really looking forward to this latest one. And it's not quite the same vibe at all. So I've heard mixed reviews on it. Some people really loved it. Some people were like, I didn't like it. But I just feel like the topic is really timely and it really ministered to me. I literally have whole pages underlined. So I love that one. And then a fiction book that I'm recommending to people right now is called The Kitchen House. Okay. And I picked it up because I follow a lot of people that like to read and their recommendations. And So this summer I kept reading about this book. And so I found it and bought it and I loved it. It's really fascinating. It's during the time of slavery in the U.S., but it's this whole story about this little girl from Ireland. She comes over on a boat and her whole family dies and aren't able to pay the captain of the ship. So the captain takes her home as an indentured servant. So this little Irish girl grows up with all of the Black slaves in their family, but she doesn't fit into either world. So it's just fascinating. It's a fascinating story. It's a really great story. So, The Kitchen House. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you?
So I'm actually like rereading something that I read a while back. It is Restless by Jenny Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the first time I read it, I liked it, but it just wasn't like speaking to me at the time of life. I was kind of like, yeah, okay, this is good, but like not something I really need at this moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which is kind of how I feel about Present Over Perfect. I've read it and I like it,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the message, but I feel like it's not something I'm struggling with or really need to hear. So I'm kind of like, oh, it's good.
Yeah.
But not like my favorite of her work. So anyway, and I kind of felt like that the first time I read this, but recently, because of the season of life I'm in, trying to, figure out my purpose in life and all that great stuff, I've kind of repicked it up and like I'm highlighting, and there's like little things where you're supposed to answer questions and fill this in. And, the first time I read it, I was like, oh yeah, skipping it over that. I'm not really into that right now. So, but now I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back and do that because I feel like it's really for now. So anyway, Restless by Jenny Allen. I know she writes a lot of Bible studies. So I know there's like a whole study that goes with this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll get that into it, but this is what
I loved Restless. I really liked it. Have you read her book, Anything?
No.
That one is actually my favorite one that I've read of hers. So
I heard her speak at a women's conference last year, and it was just good. Or no, earlier this year in February.
Yeah.
And it was just, she's passionate. She just gets after it. So anyway, I'm rereading Restless and like actually doing the work and
good.
So yeah, Restless.
Like it.
I'm liking it.
Okay. So next up is favorite band or song. And I've got to be honest, I feel like you're the expert in this area, much more than me. So let me tell you, I have two songs that like I just keep listening to.
Yeah.
And they're not, I don't know if they're even that new, but I really like them. The first one is Spirit Move, which was on the Bethel Have It All CD.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a conference by myself. And that was like the theme song of the conference. Like, we don't even sing this song in my church. Like, so it's just, I think maybe that's why I like it. It's because it's like, it's my thing. It's like my song. So I listen to that a lot. And then Pieces by Amanda Cook. Like, some days I just put it on repeat because I love it so much.
I do too. Except it bothers me. The end of that song, there's that piano deal where they're talking.
Yeah.
And it freaks my dogs out. They think someone's in the house. And like, if I want to put it on repeat, I can't. I mean, I can, but then it's like this 2 minute. And my dogs are like, who's in the house? And I'm like, it's the, dang it. So anyway, love the song. Yeah, love it.
It's on Bethel re-recorded it. So maybe that one you can put on repeat.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. So for me, I'm still on the Johnny Swim fan bandwagon. I've loved them for a really long time. But last night, I got to go to their concert and see them live at the Ryman. Yes, I'm wearing the t-shirt. I bought the t-shirt.
Awesome.
And I bought a coffee mug, and it's really cute, and I drank my tea in it this morning. And I have drank the Johnny Swim Kool-Aid. Like, they are just – I've loved them for so long, but then hearing them live, it was like one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Really?
The Ryman's a cool venue anyway. If you're ever in Nashville and can see a show there, it's like – it's just awesome, and it feels really intimate. And we had great seats, and it was just so great.
What does that name mean? Do you have any idea? Where does Johnny Swim come from?
Yeah, there's kind of like some different stories behind it, and I think that's the whole thing is like, I've heard one about like a cat drowning or something, and they're like, swim, Johnny, like that was the cat's name. But they're saying that wasn't really it. There's different. So
that's not their name, right? They have different names.
Yeah, they have different names. No one is actually named Johnny,
Okay.
or Swim. But yeah, that's just like, so it's this married couple, and they're really cute, and they are just so talented. But anyway, loving them. I love the new album. I love the old stuff. It's great. And then the other stuff, and it's kind of driving me crazy. So our church here in Nashville, I'm just waiting for the day that they like put out an album, because we're doing all these new original songs, and they are it's just so like what I need to hear right now, and just speaking to me. And
Right.
I've always like to share songs with people, like, oh, I feel like this would minister to you during this time. And I'm like, oh, there's this song, but it's not out yet, and so I can't. So as soon as they do something with that, because surely they will,
Yeah.
I'm like getting the word out, because there's so many awesome worship songs and just so good. So anyway, loving it, loving Johnny Swim.
So good.
I can't even tell you like a favorite song, because I just like them all. So yeah, so they're great. So loving that. I'm gonna have to check out your song. I don't think I've heard Spirit Move, but I will check it out.
Oh yes,
I
check
probably
it out.
heard it. I don't know. Kinda
You'll like it. I think you'll like it. So, okay, totally different topic is beauty products.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not really a huge beauty product person.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, tell people this. I started about 6 months ago using Rodan and Fields.
Yeah.
I'm also not a big fan of multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
But I was having a lot of like adult acne. This is so exciting to talk about. It was really bad.
I just like that you're caressing your face.
I'm like right in this area, right here.
Right.
Having some adult acne. I feel like I'm in a commercial right now.
Not so much here or here, but right
in the jaw area. So I had a friend say, like, just try this, and they have like different lines. So this is the one specifically like for acne. It's so good. It's totally worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for everyone, but it's kind of pricey, but I was willing to try it, and I am a fan now. So I feel like my skin is doing the best it's done in a few years. So yeah, so that's my beauty product recommendation.
Well, I use their Soothe line.
Okay.
Because I have like rosacea, super red. My skin is beyond sensitive. It's like ridiculous. And there's most things I can't use because it will either like blister my face. I mean, it's awful. And so I've had a hard time finding. So again, I was like, well, I'll try it if it works. And it's good. Like it helps take a lot of the redness out. But my favorite use for it, I've been using it. One of my daughters has eczema really bad, and it's really flared up since we moved here. There's something in the air that her skin is like not agreeing with. And so I've been putting a couple of the steps of the Soothe on her legs where they've been really bad. And it is like, and I have tried every cream and lotion for her ever made for that. And it is like making a huge difference. So yeah, I know I'm not real big into the multi-level stuff. Like I'm not ever going to probably be selling that, but it's working for me and for Ava. And so
that's great.
And then the other thing I was going to say, like we've talked like beating the dead horse about dry shampoo, but I finally got the dark brown dry shampoo and it is magical.
Good. The Batista brand or what brand?
Yeah. They had it at Target finally, the dark brown.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, it's great.
Oh man, you're not going to
all the way.
Hair for days now.
Yeah. It's good. Although it's kind of gross, like if I scratch and then I'm like, my hands are dirty. It's kind of gross because there's like brown hair color. So I promise I'm not like dirty. It's just
the dry shampoo.
My dirty hair that I'm covering.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Oh yeah. Yay for beauty products.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What's next on our list?
I have
the favorite thing we've been watching.
Oh yeah. Okay,
you go first.
Okay. So I have again just hopped right in on the bandwagon with everyone else, and I am loving the show This Is Us.
Yes.
So I'm pretty bad about watching shows as they happen. I prefer to like binge on Netflix, a couple years after they're all done.
Right.
Because I don't like to wait, and I like to just watch The whole thing kind of in one fell swoop. Like right now I'm rewatching Friday Night Lights because and I watched it when it originally came on, and it's just, I love that show. But like I never watched Parenthood. I waited until they were all out and then been watched. The dogs. Can the dogs be on the secret?
The dogs can be on the favorite episode. I think it's fine.
Okay. As long as somebody gets the door, I think they're done. It's probably FedEx. They hate that. Okay, those are the dogs, everyone.
So This Is Us. You're loving it. I like it too a lot.
I do. Like, it's really good writing. I feel like it's just creative and it's good stories and good writing, and I like it. And then my other one, and this, people make fun of me for this sometimes if I tell them, but I love the show The Incredible Dr. Pol. Have you seen it?
I think you made me watch one episode once.
He's a vet, and he is, zip it. We're doing a secret show. Zip it. I'm sorry. He is the cutest, like 75-year-old Dutch vet, and he does like large animal. I don't know why I like it so much, but I love watching Dr. Pol. I mean, he can get the calves.
Animal Planet channel?
National Geographic Wild. Yes. Yeah. So.
Yes. Very good.
There's not a new season. I watch them on demand because it never gets old. I love it.
We love Dr. Pol.
Yeah.
Well, in the vein of like animal shows, I have two recommendations as well. It's on Netflix. My girls and we watched the show called Heartland. I don't know if you've ever seen it on Netflix, but like we're on season 7. Like we've watched all of it, and my girls love it. So it's a Canadian show, and it's about this family that they have a ranch called Heartland, and they rescue like distressed or abused or like hurt horses. And like one of the girls is like, she's called like the miracle horse girl. Like she's like the horse whisperer. Like she can figure out what's wrong and help them. And it's just a really great show. And it's one of the few things that like me and Selah both like. Mm-hmm. And it's really clean.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's intense because it's like horses, it's whatever. So
horse rescue is intense. Yeah.
Horse rescue is intense. But we're loving it. So Heartland.
Oh, I love a good animal show, obviously.
You need to check it out. I'm feeling like your girls might really love it because there's 2 sisters in it.
Okay.
And so, it's got like, they're like teenagers, but yeah, so that's a good one. And then I just started this week. It just came out on Netflix, The Crown. Like Netflix has kind of been like promoting it, so maybe you've seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm 4 episodes in, and I love it. But I am obviously Instagram, I love Kensington Royal. But if you were a Downton Abbey fan and you are missing like some great British drama.
Yeah. I never watched. I know I need to. I know. Downton Abbey. I'm sorry. I know.
I still can't believe that. Like I've tried so hard. But
it's not on Netflix. It's not. It's not. What is it?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime or something?
I think so.
I don't know. We have them. I'll look it up. Okay.
I know. But The Crown is about Queen Elizabeth, like Queen Elizabeth right now.
So it's like it's not documentary, but like.
No, but I'm actually learning a lot about history. Like it's a great drama. Yeah. And her sister's like a little scandalous. So I've been like, even like when I get done, I'll Google, I'll be like, oh my gosh.
It really happened.
Really have an affair with the man? And she did. So, like not an affair, but like she wanted to marry like a commoner that worked for the king, her father. Yeah. And that's true. Like it's in like normal news. So really good. So those are my 2 recommendations that I'm loving right now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So obviously the In Between podcast is just fabulous and everybody's loving it, loving the blog. But what is another blog or podcast that you are enjoying at the moment?
Okay. Oh, can I actually give like 3?
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, blog. I want to tell you about a personal friend of mine. The lady, she works across the hall from me. Her name is Lisa. Mm-hmm. She just started her own blog called Campfires and Promises. And she is telling her story, and she has the most amazing story. Basically, she was wrongly convicted of a crime, like kind of framed for a crime, and she ended up having to go to prison, which she calls camp. And it's just, I was actually talking to her about it yesterday, and I was like, you are such a good writer. Like, this is a book. So I think everyone should go read it. But when you go, don't read the latest blog. You need to go to the very first one and read it in order, because it's like the story.
Yeah.
So I recommend that. One of my other go-to blogs that I'm not personal friends with, but I feel like we are, is the blog itself is called Chatting at the Sky. And the writer is Emily P. Freeman. And she's written a lot of books too. I really like her books, but she only writes like 2 blogs a week, but they're always really good and really encouraging and insightful. So I really like that. Mm-hmm. And then podcast, I mean, if you have time to listen to another podcast,
right.
I feel like the in-between should be like the first option. But the podcast that got me interested in podcasts in general is the Happy Hour with Jamie Ivey. So it's kind of a similar format to ours. She interviews a different woman each time. It's a full hour, which sometimes, I'll be honest, is a little bit long for me. Like, I kind of like the 30-minute format better. But I was listening yesterday. I listened to her interview with Allie Worthington, and it was really good, super encouraging. So that's what I'm loving. What about you?
Okay. So the blog, and so every year Nashville puts out a magazine, or the Nashville Scene magazine puts out an edition. What do you call it? Volume, edition, whatever, of their magazine called The Best of Nashville. And it's basically that kind of where you vote. So there was the top 3 best lifestyle blogs based out of Nashville. So I found it through that, and it's called Living with Landon, and it's this girl. She is married to a Titans football player. She's a mom. She has a couple kids. Anyway, it's just a whole lifestyle. Follow her on Instagram, and she does like a lot of Instagram story throughout the day. So I feel like I know a lot about her life because she puts it all out there. But anyway, she just does everything from fashion to recipes to decorating and parties, and it's just fun. And it's like, and I like that it's in Nashville because, again, I'm talking about new stores and new like places and things. So anyway, so I like that, Living with Landon. And then podcasts, I don't listen to a ton. I kind of float around from time to time. Mm-hmm. But there's a couple. There's actually a friend that we've met here that's in our Connect group, and he and another friend we've met at church. They do a podcast called the Reverse Podcast, and it's all like focused towards creatives. So songwriters, musicians, artists, photographers, just all kinds of creative people. And again, they do like the interview thing, and it's really good. So
Reverse, okay.
The Reverse Podcast, yeah. So I've kind of picked up some good stuff from there. And I also like Annie F. Downs.
Yes, I do.
She doesn't put one out like all the time. I feel like they're kind of infrequent. She doesn't have that many. But I like them when she does put one out. I really like. This is kind of like embarrassing moment, but she was actually at our church the other day, and I didn't realize it. Like, I saw her because I'd seen her on her blog and stuff, and this girl's walking I'm just kind of in the alley, just kind of walking to me. And I've met so many new people since we've been here in the last 3 months, so everybody kind of feels new, and I'm trying to be friendly, and I'm kind of smiling, and she's kind of smiling back, and I was like, have we met before? You look, I'm so sorry. Have we already met? And I've just forgotten your name. She's like, I don't think so. My name's Annie. I'm like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I swear I know you. I've seen you before. And she's like, yeah, I don't know where it would be, whatever. So anyway, down, I was like, it's the podcast girl. And I'm sitting here like, do I know you? Like when you wave at a newscaster in the grocery store because you're friends, but they don't know who you are. You just watch the news. That true story. It happened to family member. Anyway.
I think maybe that is a true story. I think you need to, maybe you're supposed to become friends.
I'll be like, I listen to your podcast. Anyway, but yes, I like her podcast a lot. And so it's just fun.
That's good. I like
she lives here in Nashville, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I actually was traveling the other day with two ladies, and we listened to one of her podcasts, and she said, like, at the beginning, like, this is one of the silliest podcasts I've ever done. And we laughed so hard, and she has a great laugh too. So that's fun to listen to, and sometimes a good laugh. So
yeah.
All right. So those are good recommendations. All right. We still have 4 things to talk about. Here we go.
Goodness.
Any great message or sermon that you've loved recently?
Yes. So I've mentioned our church a couple of times. We are loving our church here in Nashville, the Belonging Co. Our pastors are from Australia, and they're just phenomenal. I haven't actually met them. I just see them on the stage, and they just really blessed us through their ministry. But the pastor, the man of the relationship, he is the primary worship leader. He also speaks a lot, but he's the main worship leader, and she is the main speaker. So Alex Seeley is her name. And recently, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, she spoke on hearing the voice of God. How do I know that I'm hearing God's voice? And it was it's all stuff it wasn't like any brand new revelation. It's all stuff I knew and had heard before. But it was just such a good reminder, and it was just so simply put out there. And so it was just a great reminder. And so I'm thinking it's online. We can share that. But it's a great message. And so anyway, it's about hearing the voice of God by Alex Seeley. So
good. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's good. Yeah. Well, at my church, like the last 4 weeks, I actually wrote the sermons. So I feel weird about recommending any of those. But I don't have a specific sermon. But you know how there's certain seasons where like there's just like a person that like every time you listen to them, like they speak to you. And so for me right now, that's Havilah Cunnington. I don't know if you've heard of her. She is on staff at Bethel and does some things, but she has a podcast. So I guess I'm recommending. But a lot of times her podcast is just sermons that she's preached. And so there was one the other day just that really spoke to me. So I'm really been receiving a lot from her ministry, which is cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost Thanksgiving, or at least it's Thanksgiving month. It's like a week or so, a little more than a week away. So what is ask this right. What's your favorite part of the Thanksgiving meal? What do you like to chow down on?
You know, I like it all. I really do. Like, I feel like you kind of need the good variety of it all. But within our family, we usually celebrate Thanksgiving with my husband's family. His mom makes a sweet potato casserole that is wonderful. And so I always look forward to eating that. So I think that would be my favorite.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mine's the casseroles. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's not something we eat all year round. It just feels like that special thing. My mother-in-law's dressing is like my favorite. It's so good. And last year was the first year since we've been married that we didn't do Thanksgiving with her because she moved to Alaska. And so we just weren't able to be with her. And so she sent me the recipe. She like told me exactly how she makes it. And it was good. It just, it's like it wasn't quite the same. So anyway,
I know. Yeah.
Coming here, and like that's her number one job when she gets here is to make that dressing. And I love it because she makes like the biggest size foil pan you can buy. She makes it. She's getting after it, whipping it up in there. Anyway, it's so good. So yeah, I love the casseroles, but dressing is like my favorite.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
So what about activities over the Thanksgiving holiday? Do you have a favorite thing that you just like to do at Thanksgiving time?
For me, it's cooking. I do love to cook. And so it's kind of like the Super Bowl of the year. Like you're cooking
right. Yeah, it is.
Big meal, this big massive. And I like that. I like helping. I just like being in the kitchen, talking and laughing and cutting onions and whatever. Like, I love it. I love the cooking part. I also love the Cowboys game is always on. My husband is huge Cowboys fan. I actually took him 1 year for his birthday. I bought him tickets to the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving Day. And that was fun. It was a different thing to do on Thanksgiving, but we had a blast. But so I love watching the Cowboy game and cooking and just having everybody there, just the hustle and bustle of it, and stuff in and out of the oven, and just that whole like getting ready for that big aha moment of the ta-da, here's the feast.
Here's the food. Go for it. Dive in.
So yeah, love the cooking part.
I like it. That's good. For me, I like to cook. I'm not a great cook. So I'm totally a little bit different. But I have this ritual during the Cowboy game, which we usually eat lunch and then we watch the Cowboy game. I actually want a hard in my hand newspaper, because, you know, on Thanksgiving Day, they have like all the ads, like a whole huge pile. And so during the Cowboy game, I actually love, I don't know why, I have since I was a little girl. I actually look at every single ad. And I'm not like a major Black Friday shopper. Like, I'm not going to go at 4 a.m. or whatever. But the following day on Friday, I do like to go like shop like normal people hour times. So I do actually.
Have you ever done it like even once?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though, right?
It is kind of fun. What I've done the last couple of years is not like at 4 a.m., but like the stores that open at midnight or 1 a.m. Like, we went and got our girls a trampoline 1 year, like big purchases.
Yeah.
So,
I did it once, and I felt like I was it was just, I was with a bunch of crazy people, I felt like, and they were just grabbing stuff, and I found myself like grabbing stuff. I'm like, well, I need those towels, you know? And I was like, I don't need you just get caught up in it. So I had to be careful of that.
Yes.
I was like, well, grab it before it's gone. Oh my gosh, this is an amazing deal. And yeah, the problem was we were out of town, and I come home with all this stuff. My husband's like, how are we getting this back to Lubbock? What in the world? So yeah, anyway, but I love that. I love the ads. Have you ever used any of the apps that have them now? It's not the
No.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I need like the paper though.
There's like Black Friday where you can just, it has all the stores and
Okay. I may have to look at it, but yeah.
You know what? One year we went Black Friday, but we went at like 5 a.m. We went to H&M. We bought my husband like an entire new wardrobe. I mean, we were in the dressing room. I mean, we both had like clothes, armfuls of clothes, but I can't even tell you how much money we saved. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
If you need, like, he needed clothes, and so he like wanted like a whole new style. I don't know, it was funny, but anyway, so he was like, "This is how I want to dress. This is what I want to be wearing." And so I was like, "Well, let's go here." I mean, you get good deals anyway at H&M, and then it was like crazy percentage off. So
exactly. Last year, I bought almost all my Christmas gifts. Like within a 2-hour time span. I went by myself. We were in Dallas with our in-laws, so it was easy. I could leave my girls there, and I just and I got some great stuff for great prices. So
good deals.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
What is the favorite thing we learned this last month? Do you have something that you learned?
Yeah, I kind of have two things.
Okay.
And they don't necessarily go together, but they kind of do. So, my pastor said one day, and just in the middle of her sermon, it wasn't a point, it wasn't a main focus, it was just something that came out, but for some reason, like, I got out my notebook and wrote it down because it just stuck to me. But she said, worry doesn't make things work. And I think so many times, I'm not a huge worrier, but I can find myself kind of slipping into that. And it was just like, worry doesn't make things work. That's not going to fix anything. And so, and if anything, I think it just kind of wears us out and gets our focus off of where it needs to be. So maybe that's for somebody that's listening to this. Worry doesn't make things work. And then the second thing, that probably this overarching thing, and it's funny because I keep seeing it pop up. I guess if it's when it's something that you're dealing with, you know, it's like, I feel like it's coming from every which way. But this idea of when you're going through a lot of change, like, find the constant. What's constant? And kind of like focus on that thing, because sometimes change can feel so overwhelming. Transition can feel so daunting. And like, if you think too much about it, you feel like nothing's stable, nothing is normal, nothing, and that's really not true. And so whether that, like, I think the first time it jumped out at me, it was Charlotte Gamble posted something on Instagram, and it was her on a treadmill. And she was just saying, in my life, she travels a lot. And so it's like, so no matter where I'm at or what hotel I wake up in or whatever, exercise is a part of I've chosen to make this a part of my day. And so this is the constant. This is something that I can always do for myself. And God kind of twisted that in my head to be like a spiritual thing. Like, okay, in the midst of whatever you're going through, God's love never changes. His promises are consistent and faithful. And it's like, so when things feel crazy and up in the air and nothing feels like super solid, there are some constants, and that's what I can lean on. And so that's kind of the thing I just keep doing. I feel like it's coming at me from all different ways, or I'm seeing it in new ways. So that's for me. That
makes me think of yesterday. I was talking to our youth pastor, and we were talking about the elections that just happened this last week. And he said, this just reaffirms to me, I should never be I should never be surprised by the inconsistency of man. We were just talking about just shock, like things we think are going to happen don't happen. Things, like he said, we should never be surprised at the inconsistency of man, but we should also never be surprised at the consistency and the constantness of our God. And so we were just kind of talking about that. I thought that was so good. And I love what you said about worry. I actually preached a sermon 2 weeks ago on worry. And as I was writing it, what came out was worry steals the best part of my life. And I started thinking about it's so true. Like, it steals my time, because how much time do we waste? Like, worrying, it steals my creativity. Like, if I am consumed with worry, like, I cannot produce the things God, and it just steals so much. So, and it doesn't work. So that's really good. My thing that I have learned this month is, I guess you would call it like the power of listening. I was a communications major in college, and one of the big things they always harped on was the difference between hearing and listening. Like, you can hear something, but if you're not listening, you're not really processing. And another book. I'm reading this book right now called The Listening Life. And it's so good. It was talking about God, and every time in scripture, like that he asks someone, like, what do you want me to do for you? Or anytime like that he acts on behalf of people, like his listening is always attached to action. I don't know if that makes sense. And so, I was even, again, with election stuff, I've just been really praying about, okay, Lord, I want to be able to listen to people. I want to like hear their hearts and their frustrations. And what came to me was that part of the book. Well, Paige, if you really want to listen, the way you let people know you're listening is if it's connected somehow to action. That doesn't mean you have to do something big, but even just that, like, okay, so what I hear you saying is like just affirming things. And so, I don't know if that makes sense. It's like not a concrete thing, but I just feel like I am being taught about how to actually listen. And that even goes to how to listen to myself. I think sometimes we are so busy. If we're not conscientious to stop occasionally and pause and listen to, like, what is my body saying? What is my heart saying? What is my mind saying? Like, we can just do the normal rut things. But if we stop and listen, it can just kind of change the course of our life. So, yeah.
Thanks for joining us this week for the In Between podcast. We hope you enjoyed our favorite things. We'll be doing that from time to time because we really like to share what we're into and what we're loving right now. And we'd love to hear from you. Share your favorites. You can meet us over at Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to go to theinbetween.com and subscribe to our email list. We send our email friends lots of fun things. We do giveaways. We give goodie baskets. It's just a lot of fun to connect with you guys. So make sure you subscribe. Thanks again for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time.